can you read them out for me, please? Hi, my name is Jonny Hall. I'm the first tattoo artist in the world to specialize in UVealism, which is a merging of realistic tattoos and UV tattoos. And I've got that patented as well for anybody that's listening.
So, would you ever get a glow-in-the-dark tattoo? Well, what if I told you that they have been around for many years already, but what Jonny does and what he uses is a lot different from that of the past. Now, when I came across his work a while back, I was absolutely blown away by its uniqueness, but I also had a lot of major questions about this style of tattooing as well. So I messaged him and I gave him a list of questions that I know a lot of you are wondering about UV glow-in-the-dark tattoos, and he has answered them all for us. First one I got for him is, how did you get into this unique style of UVealism?
How I got into it, I was actually traveling Europe with my fiance, and me being me, I was thinking about tattooing the whole time. And I decided once I got back to Australia, I wanted to carve my own little area of the market, something that was unique and that would separate me from the rest of the crowd. And when I say it was a light bulb moment, it really was. I've seen a couple of other artists using UV ink to do the little small bangers and whatnot, little cute love hearts and flowers. And it kind of just popped into my head, and I thought how cool it would be if I kind of merged that with the style of tattooing that I do, which is more of the realistic side.
Now, the next question that I got for Jonny is, what type of styles can I use this UV ink with? Can I use it with more than just realism? And also, am I able to go ahead and add it to existing tattoos that I already have? Like example, my leg sleeve.
I feel you can use UV inks with most styles, and I haven't used it with different styles. I've used it with neo-traditional, I've used it with geometric, I've used it with realistic tattoos. I use UV inks often sparingly and in the parts of a tattoo that I feel will complement it as opposed to take away from it. As far as adding UV inks to existing tattoos, I generally try and steer away from that. The reason being, most of the people that do want UV ink adding to their tattoos, the original artwork was done by another artist. So out of respect, I don't really want to touch another artist's work. And also, I take pride in my work, so I really feel that the work that I do each day, I want to be creating something new. I don't want it to be adding to other people's artwork.
So now let's go ahead and ask the biggest question I think a lot of people have and are wondering in regards to UV tattoos, and that is in regards to the UV ink. Is it healthy to be putting into your body? Because let's be honest, this does look sick, but at the same time, this doesn't look like something you should be injecting into your skin and having it sit there forever.
Yeah, so a very common misconception is that UV inks are unhealthy and they're not meant for human consumption. The people that say that, they're partially right. They're just a little bit misguided, I feel, in the sense that, as far as I'm aware from the research that I've done and the people that I've reached out to, the original UV inks that were on the market, 10, 12 years ago, I remember seeing a video of Lil Wayne with a UV ink tattoo on his neck. Those UV inks, again, as far as I'm aware, are glow in the dark. So they contain an ingredient called phosphorescence, which is what illuminates after being exposed to UV rays and what stays illuminated after the lights go off. These inks are UV reactive, so they're completely different kettle of fish. And the way that they work, the atoms in the ink get activated by the UV light, which causes irradiation, which basically emits the magnetic glow that becomes so popular in tattoos today. So when you turn the lights off without a UV torch, they won't show up. They contain zero hard metals, zero phosphorescence. So yeah, they're completely safe. And what a lot of people don't actually realize, there's a lot of natural products that are actually UV reactive. So for instance, gin and tonic, the tonic water is UV reactive. Certain olive oils are UV reactive. Funnily enough, one of my most popular UV inks that clients absolutely froth over, it isn't actually sold as UV ink. It's sold as a bog standard color ink, and artists all over the world are using this ink, and I can tell they're using that ink because I can tell from the shade of it, and it is insanely bright and UV reactive. So if you were to take 50 inks from a color artist palette and shine a UV torch on it, I'd bet a penny to a pinch of shit that at least one or two of them is UV reactive.
What is the lifetime of UV tattoos? Will this eventually fade out and lose that glow?
Black ink tattoos and UV tattoos, they all fade to an extent over time. It just is what it is. How long it takes to fade really depends on a multitude of factors: skin type, sun exposure, and whereabouts the UV ink is put into the body.
Is there any way to tell that it's UV tattoo without the black light?
No, the there really isn't a way of knowing if the tattoo's UV reactive without a black light. If we're using invisible UV ink, you know, the clues in the name is it's invisible. So in daylight, once it's healed, it's 100% undetectable until you get underneath the black light or go temping, bowling or laser questing. With color UV inks, the colors that I use, they just heal like a normal color tattoo. So they look pink in daylight, they look orange in daylight, they look red in daylight. Then again, under the UV torch, that's when the irradiation occurs. Obviously, they start glowing. How do I think the rest of the tattoo community has received UV tattoos? I think UV tattoos and what I brought to the table has been very polarizing. I've had some videos reach 50, 60 million views now. As a rule of thumb, probably 80-90% of the people that reach out to me, comment on my posts, it's nothing but love and positivity, which truly I do appreciate. There's always going to be somebody sitting in the mother's basement with nothing better to do who wants to tell me and anybody who will listen that UV ink's dangerous and it's just a fad. And if everybody hates the UV ink, fuck them. I like it.
So I want to give a big thank you to Jonny Hall for answering all these questions and coming on this video. And if you have any other questions that you would like answered about UV tattoo, UV realism, go ahead, let me know, and I will send him a whole new batch of questions to get answered. Go ahead, follow him on all the social media accounts. I have them all listed in the description. You definitely want to see his work. It's amazing and it's inspiring. Now I want you guys to go ahead and check out this video where I list a whole bunch of different tattoo designs and styles that you might like and get inspired by for your next tattoo.